Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very inspiring thing that children, they learn very fast. I think they can memorize slokas faster than us and recall better than us. I've seen it, I've seen children here in Madhuvanam, they're reciting slokas just like that. I thought they would not be able to memorize Astavakra Gita, but they are flowing with Gita. Well, anyway, we have a lot to offer and we have a lot to move on with life, you see. Um, I'm still busy reading Narada's Bhakti Sutras, you see. The book doesn't seem to be getting over, though there are hardly, they're very short slokas, but each sloka, as you contemplate, it doesn't let you go further because you have to digest it. You see, such a loaded thing, says Narada had shared. And I was prompted to explore this because one of the Abhyasis, he pointed out one letter from Babuji Maharaj advising one of those senior Abhyasis in 1954 or 1955. He wrote to them that please read this particular book, Narada's Bhakti Sutras. So I was wondering why Babuji is recommending that, see? And I found it fascinating because it gives me the solution, it gives me the ideas that, when Swami Vivekananda was somehow not very happy with Sahaj Marg system. So he openly told Babuji in one of those communications that Ramchandra, we have one defect with Sahaj Marg and you must correct it. And that people become very fragile, they are too morose, they stop smiling, they stop laughing after meditation, which is not a good this is a very bad side effect of Sahaj Marg practice. And while I was reading this Narada Bhakti Sutra, it flashed that the only solution is bhakti. So when you are surrendered to the master, the worries, the anxieties, the idea of absorption, the ideas of uh, that I am meditating, it all slowly drops down because now you are so much concerned with these bhakti aspects of our practice. Babuji has put it in a very different connotation, you see, that when he merged, when Lalaji Maharaj merged in Babuji, says, I become you, you become me, so that none can say that you and I are different. So that is the level of mergence we are seeking for. But when I practice with this I preceding everything, oh, I practice, it's my condition, my level of understanding, my consciousness, and you keep master aside, you will go nowhere. Nowhere at all, see. So we had to bring back this idea of bhakti and with even a stronger resolve, you see. Babuji prescribed this idea of remembrance, rather constant remembrance, with a hope that it will eventually lead Abhyasis to love their master immensely, without questions. And you rarely find examples of total dedication. You rarely find a person whom you would like to keep at least for a few months in your mind and then try to see if I can deliver this dear brother or dear sister in the brighter world. I keep wondering, how is it that I am failing in this exercise? Are there not enough loving Abhyasis? I see them everywhere, shouting, screaming, Daji, 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 or Chariji or Babuji. They love so much their masters. And yet, I fail to understand why I am failing in retaining some Abhyasis, even one Abhyasis, long enough to deliver in the brighter world. I'm sorry, I'm a bit talking too openly, perhaps. It might hurt some of you who think that you are so devoted to the great master. And this is the test. This is the test for all of us. Are you, forget the master's happiness, but are we ourselves happy with our own practice, our own lifestyle? And I have seen this new trend, rather, the trend that has been going on since 1980s, and then it's getting worse each passing year. And it has become too nauseating for me that abhyasis, though they like to serve the mission, they run all kinds of programs, C Connect programs and We Connect programs and all kinds of programs, which is very good. Problem comes when, for example, when Anand is working with We Connect and somebody else from another state who's a GC feels that how come Anand, who is from Chennai, is working now in my zone in Odisha, trying to promote We Connect. I mean, be happy at least somebody is trying to do something, at least in your state, something you could not do, somebody else is doing. But they are so fragile, our ego, our heart. Instead of becoming more and more generous and accepting, they become more and more fragile, extremely fragile. Ego that has become fragile, I don't think you can repair it, because when we submit ourselves to God, He likes to see our intact ego. It's not that we're going to annihilate our ego completely and destroy it. No. Ego is our best friend also. This, as Babuji says, mind can be your best friend. But most people think that it's your enemy. Ego also can be our best friend when we use it for our own growth. I've been giving this example of a flutist that if you had a concert and you played this particular raga and the audience is on their feet clapping away the whole evening, the next day you'd like to surpass your own performance. You will not be happy with yesterday's performance, though the audience loved it. But you like to surpass your achievement, surpass your performance. And same thing happens with our day-to-day activities. I should surpass my own activities. I should not surpass somebody else's activities. For example, oh, Nagaraj is doing something, or Nitin is doing something, I must do something better than them. No, it's a healthy competition is okay as long as it's healthy. But to put someone down and say, oh, I'm doing better than this so and so, that doesn't work. In fact, it becomes a spiritual toxin. So this sort of approach, I think you'll have to correct. And I think it's more dominant in southern states. When I do compare northern states versus southern states, the fragility, jealousy, agileness is more in the south than in the north. So we have to, I think, reorient ourselves, readjust, refine ourselves, and see. Masters also, over the years, offer all kinds of programs. They induct us. They offer programs for children, etc. As the Sister Ritu was mentioning, Gitopadesh, for example. Chariji had started a school, medical centers. So many things have happened besides our offering of Sahaj Marg as a spiritual practice. But for example, when we start medical centers, We know we cannot become the best of the best. We cannot compete with Mayotte, or we cannot go as parallel as Apollo, right? So when people do come for treatments, they go with the impressions that, oh, this is another small center lying around in the meditation campus. They don't charge, so it may not have even value for it. So this is a tragedy people cannot appreciate. I don't think even one Abhyasi was made out of free services at BMA. So we have to really look at our strategies. Schools also, you see. We have one school there and one school in Hyderabad, in Kana Santivanam. People are always expecting something greater and greater, which is okay. But what is your contribution towards it? Are you contributing anything, or you're just there to go on criticizing and criticizing and criticizing? I had seen masters in tears often whenever he received problems related to school, related to medical center, related to some petty things like that, see, in tears. Because the ambition with which he started, and then on top of that, you get criticisms, blaming the master. It bleeds your heart actually. Bhakti is where we say lutado, I don't know what to say in English. You are ready to give up everything that you have. Lutaro, dil se lutaro. But here you want to become heartless and go on criticizing the masters. Where will you go? Where will you find your liberation? You have locked yourself worse than anyone can imprison you. There is no jail greater than the jail that is made by your own beliefs and by your own attitudes. How can we escape from this jail made by our own belief system, our own attitudes, despite of practicing? In fact, in Babuji's words, pranahuti or transmission will make a thief, a pakka thief, a perfect thief. Last, we read in Truth Eternal that, the healthy people, when there's a breeze, wind, their health improves with such a breeze, cool breeze. But sick person will become sicker. Likewise, when pranahuti is given, depending upon your attitude, your goals, your ambitions, your innate nature will be strengthened. Whatever that nature be, if you are sattvic, you will go on becoming sattvic. If you are tamasic, surely you'll become more and more tamasic. People do superficial cleaning, if at all, they get a chance to do cleaning. Ask yourself a very honest question. When did you sit last comfortably and did a cleaning that gave you so much of contentment to your heart? So if we don't practice the way it is prescribed, I think we have to relook at our priorities. We still have time. As long as hope is there, life is there, and our keen desire is there to make a difference, I think there can always be the new beginnings. And that's what The great masters are always waiting for a new beginning every day, new condition, new spiritual state. They're ever zealous, ever ready to grant us spiritual conditions all the time. Something that we cannot even understand. They inject into us with the hope that one day we will be able to grasp it and be one with it and grow with it. And also a day might come when we ourselves will be in a position to distribute these spiritual conditions to one and all with so much of generosity. In one of the Upanishads, Brahmaranyaka Upanishad, they're defining, the sages, they are defining the definition of Hridayam. Hridayam, according to them, is made up of three Sanskrit letters, Ri, Da, and Yam. The first letter, Hri, HR, right, conveys one simple thing: to attract. Da, to give. In our Paddhati, with our Sahaj Marg Paddhati, what are we attracting? Master's grace, transmission. That's a purpose. The heart pulls it towards itself. Da is also very important, to give. What we receive, we must digest and expand it in ourselves and make it palatable so that we can give it to others. And when this exchange can continue, then you will appreciate the last letter, Yam, of Hridayam, where you are able to transcend from this dimension to another dimension. So that is the role of Hridayam, and it's a beautifully given name. And also somehow it justifies why our elders, our masters chose and prescribed meditation on the heart, to receive, to give, and thus we transcend. And everything happens in the heart. Even when we say the center is in the occipital region, yet Babuji says center is in the heart. Such a beautiful thing. See? It is the heart that connects us with the other dimensions, higher dimensions. It is the heart with which we feel things, we remember Master, we love Masters. If there is no heart in our practice, I think we can achieve very little. Though, even when we sit without love, without patience, without any acceptance, without reverence, without respect, still we do feel something, isn't it? We feel at least at peace. It removes our problems. Imagine if we are doing it correctly, the way it is prescribed, with those attitudes. Life will change. You will have immediate transformation, overnight transformation. So I plead with you to examine yourself, introspect, and see where all we can make a difference with our personal journey. Husband should not criticize the wife, and wife shouldn't criticize the husband and say, look what you are doing. You see, that's why Daji is talking like this. No, it's not specific to anyone. It's for all of us to dive deeper and have an honest analysis of our behavior. So I met Babuji Maharaj and he loves me and he initiated me and blah, 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 but I don't like this guy. God help you. There is no guarantee in spirituality. I've said it time and again that there are a few individuals who play a major role in our lives. First is our mother, critical to our existence. She initiates us into this world. Then comes father. Also no less. But he has a different role to play in life. Then comes a spiritual guru in life who initiates us on a real spiritual journey. And then comes initiation at the hands of God. When the Master delivers us, the one I started talking about, to the brighter world, around that period, God will rush towards such a Vapyasi and make a difference. This is just a small hint I'm trying to give you. Some of you who would understand it, and after this understanding, at least mend the way they think and behave, they can be saved. They can be protected on the journey. Please don't think this as warnings or some sort of a vendetta. No, I'm not singling out anyone. I have to be very careful when I'm talking to Abhyasis these days. I think they have their own tangential understanding that, oh, Ramesh from Erode might think, oh, why is he attacking me all the time? He's criticizing me all the time. No, Ramesh, I don't have such intentions. I love you folks. And that's why I'm very open. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow now at 9 p.m. And I hope you'll have some questions for me tomorrow. Thank you.
So we will meet tomorrow again at 9 p.m. Would request whoever receives the message, please join the call little bit early. And the questions already has been sent